Hello everyone, welcome to an inaugural episode of AGF TV. This is a snapshot on stories making headlines in and out of the African Guarantee Fund. Now of course we had a lot of stories to tell you, but here's where we're going to start. The EU Agribiz is a program that is being implemented by AGF with great support from the European Union and the African Development Bank. Of course, we're looking towards how do we ensure that funding within the agricultural sector is supported, funding towards women and youth, and also ensuring that we can actually insist that access to finance is readily available and on time to the farmers. Now, here's a snapshot on how this session started, which was ably opened by Nishdeep Sethi, who is the Group Head of Structured Finance at AGF.
The Agribiz program is not just a financial mechanism. We want to look at this as an opportunity to transfer the way we finance agriculture, to empower women and youth as the backbone of rural economies, and to demonstrate what partnership in action truly looks like. 93% of farmers in Kenya produce for the local market, whereas only 7% farm for export. Women hold only 1% of land titles solely, and 5 to 6% jointly, despite contributing to 80% of the agricultural labor. 83% of the youth in agriculture engaged in the informal sector without formal contracts. So it's from this statistic alone, we can see the importance of bringing women into the banks, into the access to finance, access to markets. Today's forum marks an important milestone in the rollout of the Agribusiness Program, a partnership between the European Union and the African Development Bank that is being implemented by African Guarantee Fund. This initiative is designed to unlock access to finance for women and youth-led agribusinesses, a segment that continues to face significant barriers despite its immense potential to drive food security, job creation, and economic growth. So through the Kenya Women and Youth Risk-Sharing Facility, the European Union and the African Development Bank have demonstrated their strong commitment to inclusive growth by combining guarantees and technical assistance to de-risk lending to empower financial institutions to confidently serve the agricultural enterprises.
After that great opening and just getting an overview of the program from Nishdeep, we delved deeper in looking at what exactly is this program about and how does it sort of look like with the various stakeholders. Now, we had Daniel Munyambu representing the banks. He's the Vice President of Commercial Banking at ABSA Kenya, and also Rama Madiba, of course, representing the Kenya Chamber of Commerce, that's sort of the small-scale business and the business community. And of course, Okisegere Ojepat representing a strong fulcrum in this partnership, and that's the farmers. He's the CEO of the Fresh Produce Consortium of Kenya. And last but not least, of course, from AGF, we had Daniel Nomo, who's the Head of Portfolio and Business Development at AGF, sort of kind of giving a detailed look into the EU Agribiz program. And here is how it went.
Speaking to what this program has done, and I know as ABSA Bank, we did do a market research on the space and said what are real issues that are affecting flow of credit to the agri space. And we found that is access to information. Remember, people are not putting up very good data that can help banks score. Access to markets that are able to tell exactly what prices will be. In fact, even in this country, I don't think at the moment we have securities exchange that looks at a good chunk of our business. Then access to coaching and mentorship. Those that have been able to walk that journey earlier of us can guide us, and that's where the likes of Okisegele are really helpful to us. And finally, access to sustainable finance, which is also a shared goal that you mentioned earlier. And the space that the AGF has helped us in the past is to de-risk for farmers whose level of security is not up standard. And because of that, there have been a catalytic effect, and we've been able to really push credit that would have otherwise not been approved because of that borderline need for having additional securities.
So maybe I can come to the next question, which is mainly directed to Mr. Rama from the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And just to to understand a little bit about the current partnership that you have with African Guarantee Fund. I do know that it's around dairy financing, which is also a unique value chain that we need to look at, and maybe to speak a little bit about the stakeholders along the value chain and their role, and how perhaps could this model be replicated for other value chains within the sector.
Africa Guarantee Fund has provided a grant to the Chamber of Commerce to support what we're calling it a climate-smart dairy value chain intervention. And why did we pick dairy? We picked dairy because to more than almost 1.8 million smallholder farmers, it is dairy that drives homes. The most painful thing for a dairy farmer is cash flow. The next thing is school fees for their children, for a dairy farmer. Because this comes in as a lump sum payment, and for sure it comes in every other term. The third one is healthcare, and the fourth one is housing, in that order. And then, what are we trying to do? We want to, first of all, solve logistics for the dairy sector by bringing in e-mobility. So one of the experiments that we did, a pilot that we did, was that when we provided an electric tuk-tuk, I don't know if it's still electric, it's still called a tuk-tuk, but we provided an electric three-wheeler to some dairy transporters. And the results were very phenomenal, because it cut the costs of petrol of that transporter from 750 shillings every day to 150 shillings. So the cost shrunk how many times? 5 times. The amount of milk that the transporter was mopping from the community increased twice, from 600 liters to 1,200 liters. So essentially, his income increased. But what does that? How does that speak to what my brother here was saying? Is that with the increase in the amount of produce that is being mopped up and brought into the formal value chain, it means that we have access to information, and these farmers are visible not only to us, but also to the financial institutions. So what have we done is that, as a Chamber of Commerce, we have digitized more than 70,000 dairy farmers across 11 counties. So we have farm-level production and can be able to tell you on a real-time basis how many farmers produce how much and what is the value of that milk. That is very important, because it provides us a foundation to then build on it. So where does Africa Guarantee Fund come, and how does the project work? Is that now, because we have data of a farmer for the last 1 year across different seasons, then we are then able to put a mirror and then project 1 year into the future how that production is going to look like. Therefore, we would like to sit down with the financial institutions that are here and say, how do we utilize the guarantees that you have from the Africa Guarantee Fund to increase investment into the farm level? Because what a farmer just needs is investment. He needs to understand, he needs to be trained to say that if I sell this cow and I buy a better cow and feed it well, I'm going to double my production.
I want to just quickly touch with the point with Daniel, who's a colleague at African Guarantee Fund, that now that we've heard from Absa Bank and Ken CCI, can we say, according to you, how do these players come together? Why is AGF working in this way? And the barriers that both gentlemen have raised, that is facing the agri-SMEs, according to you, what are we trying to do here? What brings us all together?
Just before this panel, I was looking at our figures. At AGF, we have been able to unlock around $1 billion USD of financing in Kenya since inception. And the part of agriculture in this amount was around 65 million USD. So something around 7%. How can we increase this share of agriculture? Why do we want to increase? Do we want to increase this share of agriculture? It's not just because it will be nice. It's because at the end of the day, this is having an impact in the communities. This is having an impact in job creation. This is having an impact in our own lives. So this is the challenge why we are gathered here. And what we have been doing with the commercial banks, with partners like the Chamber of Commerce, is to this objective. How can we increase our impact in these rural areas and in this sector, which is agriculture? And for that, we have two instruments. The first is the guarantee. A guarantee, most of the time, we are talking about partial credit guarantees, which will help the financial institution to unlock more financing towards the agriculture. This Agribiz program is very important from our point of view. I was telling you that we were able to unlock 65 million USD in 10 years, 7%. How can we increase these numbers? I think the target we have for Agribiz is around 150 million. And I'm sure that with our partners, with the commercial banks, with the organization BDS, we will be able to meet this objective.
Thank you, Daniel. So the point there was really to bring out the risks that, or the challenges that have been highlighted so far, that we do have solutions in-house at the moment that if we work together, we're able to solve. So coming to Mr. Ogere, being on the ground, I would want to really understand from you that even businesses that show strong potential, they still struggle to access credit. You know, according to you, what are the real challenges that the agribusinesses face when approaching financial institutions, and how do you think financial institutions could better adapt to meet these needs?
Our businesses are competing in the global market, and speed is of essence, and therefore an order is placed today. Kenya is placed in a very strategic position now that we're sitting in Kenya. We're able to deliver cargo into the marketplace within 48 hours of harvesting. Our people require one, working capital, and they want it now, not tomorrow, because the freight has to be paid today. So when you tell our people you will access money tomorrow, for them it's too late. So one of the things that we are asking the institutions, the financial institutions, is to avail resources, but on time. So if you gave us the process of saying we are going through the approval process, it has to be predictable, because our freight will not stop. And if you do not pay, the cargo will be left at the airport. So one of the biggest challenge we have is that we do not have cash to pay freight. We do not have cash to be able to pay those employees, the majority of which are youth and the women, to harvest on time and be able to transport to the next pack house. And yet, our client in UK or our client in that market is ready to pay 7 days, 14 days, 21 days, or 30 days based on what has been agreed. And therefore, the schedule has been provided. If you do not supply, you defile the order, you have fines to pay, and you have a reputation on us, and that market shifts to the next person. We used to be a predominant market players when it comes to vegetable. We are no longer there because the rest of the countries have also learned, and therefore competition is becoming stiffer by day. Sitting with some of you, and I've seen a few of your faces of the people that have sat and kept telling them, please look at us not as a risk, because we all eat. So I keep asking this question, how can what you eat become a risk when it comes to lending? We all took fruits, and they're generous, but when it comes to lending, it becomes a risk. I think we need to sit together and understand, as he said, how do we do our business and understand value chain by value chain. How you fund French beans is different from how you fund basil. It's different from how you fund your flowers. It's different from how you fund avocado. It's different from how you fund mangoes, or how we fund bananas. The unfortunate bit, when I meet some of you, is that you are finance people, wired financially, and not the farmer like Daniel, who works in the bank. So we feel at some point the challenge is that you do not understand how the cycles go through, and perhaps institutions have not invested in allowing you to understand how our businesses go through.
After the panel conversation, we took time to explain to our partners the work that the African Guarantee Fund does. We, of course, went through and discussed about accessing the Agribiz Guarantee Facility, how they can do that. Also looking at, AGF support to them and how do we ensure that they can actually build their capacity, and also discuss to them about reporting requirements and performance measuring expectations.
AGF, we are not excluding any type of facility. It can be trade facility, it can be overdrafts, all types of facility that you are thinking about to finance SMEs can be covered by AGF. Some key features of this program is 5-year program with Agribiz. We would like to disburse at least 18 billion. I think this will be easy because I was listening to some numbers that are more important than this one. We would like to disburse at least 140 million to these women and youth-led SMEs. And this is around 9 billion in terms of guarantee. And I'm sure we'll be able to do that, and I'm sure we'll be able to do more. So it's also the occasion, when I'm finishing, to thank all our partners in Kenya. You know we are grateful for the partnership, and we would like to do more in the next few years and the next few months.
On the bank side, just to name but a few, we have diagnostic assessments, which would be end-to-end review of your lending to agri-SMEs in terms of staffing, in terms of products, policies, procedures, and whatnot. If you want to know where you stand, and more importantly, what are your opportunities, we can help you undertake diagnostic assessments. Of course, we have product development and various trainings, be it in credit assessment, customer relationship management, risk management. If you want to enter into murky waters, we can also support you. But just to be clear, this list is not exhaustive. Our capacity development is very, very agile, and we support you very specific. We are very specific when it comes to our support, that we cater to what exactly you need. It can be as specific as possible down to the specific value chain that you want. That is, we will support you in the same. So don't feel like this list is too short. We can engage and be able to support in whichever way you would need. Of course, on the agri-SME side, we leverage on partnerships with business associations and BDS providers, like Mr. OJ here with the Fresh Produce Consortium. We know that such associations have on-the-ground knowledge which would assist us to cater to what these SMEs actually really need. Not just a basic training, mentorship, program that they can undertake and, be linked to a bank where they don't necessarily, there's a mismatch between what the bank wants and what the SME wants.
In terms of data collection, so we'll be having monthly reporting. So we'll be all the partner financial institutions that will come in agreement with us. So there will be monthly reporting in terms of the utilization of guarantee. Through those monthly reports that you'll be receiving from your technical staff and utilization, so we'll be generating a program yearly reporting. So this is going to be consolidation of all those monthly reports that will be aggregated. We'll be doing some documentation on lessons learned. Then we'll be also creating and producing program narratives and indicator reporting to our funders and the shareholders. We'll be having this kind of similar sessions to reflect and pause a bit and reflect on the learnings. Where are we having successes or where are we having failures, so that we can brainstorm and reflect together on how best can we move in terms of unlocking more financing in this sector.
Well, of course, what's an AGF event without some bit of fun? We enjoyed ourselves a bit, and of course, check out some of the video clips there of the chicken dance where we, sort of try to loosen up and engage with our stakeholders. Thank you so much to all our partners and stakeholders in ensuring that this program succeeds. We, of course, commit as AGF to do our part in ensuring the same. That's it from me. My name is Laban Cliff. Don't forget to subscribe to AGF TV. See you again next time.